Imagine looking next to you and seeing a girl you literally fell in love with at first sight. You stayed silent, looked at yourself, and said, no, she definitely won't look at me. Afterwards, you said, oh, if only this girl would love me so much, fall deeply for me, and become infatuated with me. I would be so happy. But unfortunately, you don't know that what you wished for could be a curse, the only request that could turn your life into hell. Because our protagonist made this exact wish, and his wish came true, but he regretted it deeply. Why? We will find out. The movie begins with a young man named Bear, who is sitting in a restaurant with his friend Ian, and the waitress at the restaurant, who is also considered their friend. Anyway, Bear starts talking to this waitress as if she were his friend Nikki, beginning to tell her the words he wants to say to Nikki when he goes to confess his love to her. This is because Bear loves his friend Nikki very much, but he is a bit shy, and that's why he hasn't confessed his love to her until now, even though they actually work together in the same shop and meet every day. But he is shy. Currently, Ian sees the words Bear is saying and doesn't like them at all. So he sends the waitress away and starts advising Bear on exactly what to say to Nikki when he meets her. He lets Bear know that he shouldn't rush and that it's normal to take his time until he is capable and confident that he can confess his love to Nikki. Ian reminds Bear that Nikki's character is a bit strange, and the biggest proof of this is that back in high school, when they were students, the students used to call her Weird Nikki. Ian says he doesn't know whether she was strange or, like, sick or something, but that was in the past. In any case, he lets Bear know that he needs to take his time, think, relax, and then go to her. Bear returns to his house, and as soon as he gets back, he is shocked because he finds his cat, named Sandy, dead. She died because she reached the antidepressant medications that Bear had been taking for a while, took a lot of them, and died. Of course, Bear becomes sad and blames himself immensely because these things reached her. After a while, Nikki calls Bear to ask him why he didn't come to work today. So Bear lets her know that he was a bit tired, and Nikki wishes him well. After that, she informs him of something shocking, letting him know that she is leaving her job at the shop next week. Bear gets upset and decides to meet Nikki today to finally confess his love to her because there is no time left to wait. But before he goes to meet her, he first goes to a gift shop to buy her a gift, and he keeps looking through the gifts until his eyes fall on something like an amulet. By the way, it is written on the box of this amulet that it grants its owner only one wish, and this wish will come true. Of course, Bear does not believe this talk at all, but he likes the amulet, so he buys it. Afterward, he goes to sit in a restaurant with Ian, Nikki, and also their friend Sarah, who works with them in the same shop. While they are sitting, Ian keeps encouraging Bear from underneath the table to go and confess his love to Nikki, but Bear remains embarrassed and doesn't confess anything. When they finish their gathering, they leave, and Nikki asks Ian and Sarah to drive her home. At that moment, Bear takes advantage of the opportunity and informs her that he is the one who will drive her. So the two of them get into Bear's car and drive off. After a short time, they arrive at Nikki's house, and at that moment, Bear speaks with Nikki, letting her know that he wants to tell her something. He is about to confess his love to her, but he gets embarrassed again and says nothing. So Nikki leaves him and walks away, but she turns back to him and asks if he is attracted to her, and that's why he is nervous like this. But Bear remains evasive and lets her know that no, he is not attracted to her, doesn't love her, or anything like that. So Nikki leaves him and goes to her house. At that moment, Bear brings out the amulet, holds it in his hand, and makes his only wish, which is for Nikki to love him, but in a crazy way. You should know that this amulet thing is very real, because as soon as Bear makes this wish, Nikki returns to him again, starts talking to him, and even asks him to come inside her house to sit for a bit and drink something. Bear genuinely finds this sudden, strange behavior odd, but the problem is that Nikki doesn't back down. She gets even stranger. When she finds that he isn't coming inside the house with her, she gets into the car with him and starts asking him strange questions, saying weird things, and hinting that she loves him and wants to live with him from now on and never leave him. Because Bear had started to feel something strange and didn't understand why Nikki had become this weird, she starts trying to justify it to him, telling him that her father is very sick with cancer and is going to die, even though her father, my friend, lives in another town, completely far away from her, and hasn't known his daughter for a long time. This affects Nikki, making her very sad, and that's why she justifies that because she is sad, she is behaving in this strange way. At that moment, Bear refuses to leave her and takes her now to his house so she can stay with him. As soon as they arrive at the house, the strangeness increases. Out of nowhere, Nikki keeps telling Bear that she loves him, but she feels she is a bit strange, so she apologizes to Bear. At that moment, Bear leaves her and goes to sit on his laptop for a bit to search about this amulet he bought. He finds many people writing that this amulet is real and that it fulfills any wish anyone desires. Bear starts to feel that Nikki's way with him became strange like this because of the wish he made, which had practically come true. The next day, Bear wakes up to go to work. Before he goes, he passes by his cat and finds Nikki putting candles and things like that around the cat, letting him know that she made a memorial for the cat to make him happy. Of course, Bear finds Nikki's behavior very strange, but he doesn't comment and decides to go to work, and Nikki goes with him. They work in a shop that sells musical instruments like pianos and many tools like that, and Ian and Sarah also work with them. Ian talks to Bear and asks him what he did with Nikki, so Bear informs him that Nikki is very strange and is behaving weirdly because of the topic of her father's illness, and that he is passing away and dying. And she keeps justifying to him every bit that she is strange because she is sad about her father and refuses to leave him. But Ian has another opinion, letting Bear know that Nikki actually doesn't love her father, so why would she be sad? He informs him that she might be behaving strangely because she is taking a drug called Molly, which is widespread during this period. And this drug is actually something Nikki used to take in the past, so it's normal that she might have gone back to it. Of course, Bear is shocked by all this because he didn't know. Generally, at the end of the day, Nikki is about to get into the car with Bear to go with him again, but Bear lets her know that he won't be able to drive her today, nor does he want her to come with him. So Nikki gets embarrassed and walks away with Ian and Sarah, while Bear takes himself and returns to his house. After he returns home, not much time passes before he finds Nikki coming to him and apologizing to him for her strange way that she behaved with him yesterday and in the morning, letting him know that she was behaving strangely because she was under the influence of drugs, and that she takes drugs not because she is an addict or anything, but due to her great sadness over her father. At that time, Bear sympathizes with her a bit, forgets everything that happened, takes Nikki, and they go out to a restaurant to sit. Not much time passes before a call comes to Bear from Ian, in which Ian informs him of something very strange. He called the hospital where Nikki's father is supposed to be treated, but they said there is no anyone by that name being treated there. He informs him that this man appears not to be sick, but rather in very good health. On the contrary, he found out that he goes to work every day, goes out, and practices his life normally. It is clear that Nikki was lying in all her talk about her father. Ian also informs him that Sarah and Nikki were talking today, and Nikki told Sarah that she considers Bear just a friend, but neither loves him nor anything that Nikki was supposed to have said to Bear yesterday. Of course, Bear is shocked by all this and starts to feel that Nikki is a sick person and that she said the topic about her father to emotionally blackmail him so he stays with her, while she actually doesn't love him but just wants him with her. Of course, all this talk angers Bear, but he does nothing and goes back to sit with Nikki. As soon as he sits, Nikki tells him that she loves him and that she won't be able to live without him ever. So Bear finds this talk of Nikki strange and wants to tell her that he found out she said she doesn't love him to Sarah, but he changes his mind and says nothing. Nikki keeps telling him that she loves him, behaving strangely and saying even stranger words to the point that Bear, my friend, starts to get afraid. But in the end, he takes her, they go, and he confesses to her there, by the way, that he also loves her because, as we said, he actually loves her from before but just wasn't confessing. In general, they all sleep and she sleeps at his house. But during the night, Bear wakes up due to a sound around him. When he wakes up, he finds Nikki standing in the middle of the darkness, wearing his jacket, looking at him and watching him. She keeps telling him that she loves him, but she doesn't feel that he reciprocates the same amount of love. And without introduction, she keeps crying. But after a bit, she laughs and says she loves him and won't leave him. Bear is afraid and feels that she is crazy and that she literally became obsessed with him, and that's why she is behaving in this strange way. But Bear, in any case, calms her down and they go back to sleep again. Practically, Bear cannot sleep from the intensity of fear. After a bit, Bear enters the bathroom to fix himself up before going to work. But when he enters the bathroom and looks in the mirror, he discovers that his hair has been cut a bit, so he knows that the crazy Nikki cut his hair while he was sleeping. He goes to her and asks her about what she did, but she doesn't answer him with a useful response and keeps saying the same strange words. But Bear doesn't care at all, lets her know that she shouldn't do something like this again, and asks her not to watch him again while he is sleeping because this frightens him and because this is a very strange act. He decides that he will just go to work and forget all this talk, while Nikki stays at the house because today is her day off. While Bear is going to the apartment door to open it and leave, he finds the door taped with a lot of tape, so he cannot open it easily, and he knows that the crazy Nikki is the one who did this to trap him next to her. But he also doesn't speak, opens the door with difficulty, and leaves. When he leaves, something strange happens. Nikki keeps standing where he left her, exactly as she is, keeps looking at the door, laughing, and doesn't move from her place at all, so she can stay in her place here to receive him when he returns. Literally, because she doesn't move from her place, she pees on herself while standing in her place. It is very clear that Nikki is truly crazy and obsessed with Bear, and she won't make his life happy at all, but will rather turn it into hell. Generally, as we said, Bear goes to work, meets Sarah, and talks with her. So Sarah informs him that Nikki doesn't love him and that she is surprised how she suddenly became in love with him, and also lets him know that she is afraid Nikki is exploiting him. Bear passes the situation and lets Sarah know that he will be fine. Sarah keeps talking with him, and it is clear that she is the one attracted to him, and that's why she wants him to stay away from Nikki. But in total, Bear sees the food box that Nikki sent with him, and he finds that Nikki left him 2 pictures of them together and a sandwich inside the box. He holds the sandwich and eats it, but he feels that the sandwich is strange and doesn't know what exactly Nikki made as food, so consequently, he throws up all the food he ate because of how disgusting it is. At the end of the day, Bear returns to the house, but before he enters the house, he brings out the amulet box and finds a number on the back of it, so he calls it. A man answers him, so Bear asks him if this wish topic is real, and the man confirms to him that the wish indeed comes true and that he cannot back out of it. Bear knows that what is happening to Nikki is because of the wish he made, which made her obsessed with him in the literal sense of the word. Generally, Bear enters the house, finds Nikki standing waiting for him, and her appearance is strange and disgusting to the point that Bear is disgusted by her and doesn't know what exactly she ate that messed her up like this. He is afraid she might have eaten his cat, but generally, he asks her to go inside to clean herself. Indeed, Nikki goes inside to clean herself. At that moment, Bear informs her that he is going to Ian's because he is hosting a party. But Nikki gets jealous of Bear going alone because she knows that Sarah will be there and knows that Sarah is attracted to Bear, so she decides to go with him by force. Indeed, Nikki goes with him to this party against his will. At the party, they all play a game that consists of papers with things written on them, and everyone holds a paper, reads what is in it, and must execute what is required. Bear finds that his paper says he must hug the person next to him, who happens to be Sarah. Bear is about to hug her, but Nikki, of course, does not like this talk. So she goes, pulls Sarah away, removes her from the place, and sits herself in her place next to Bear, so she is the one to hug him, not Sarah. Of course, everyone is surprised by what Nikki did and get genuinely afraid of her way. What's even stranger is that Nikki starts breaking many bottles in front of her, cutting herself while screaming, and no one understands what is happening. But in total, Bear and Nikki go to the house, and at that moment, Nikki keeps crying like children that she is afraid Bear will send her away from the house. Bear is actually afraid of her, so he asks her to calm down and sleep, and he won't send her away nor tell her to go anywhere. So Nikki agrees and finally sleeps. As for Bear, he stays awake because, as we said, he is afraid to sleep next to this mad woman, lest she finish him off while he is sleeping. After a bit, a message arrives to Bear from Sarah, informing him that she is in front of his house and asking him to come down to meet her. Bear actually goes down and meets Sarah in her car, and when Bear sits with Sarah, Sarah informs him that Nikki has become crazy and she doesn't love him, but is rather attached to him and obsessed with him, nothing more. Sarah advises him to stay away from her for his own good because she has become strange, does unnatural things, and might harm him. She also informs him that Ian and Nikki used to love each other in the past, but he hadn't told him. and she lets him know now that Ian suspects and told her he suspects that Nikki is getting close to Bear like this, not because she loves him or anything, but just to spite Ian. Of course, Bear is shocked by all this, but Sarah doesn't care and lets him know that she is the one who loves him. At that moment, Bear rejoices, and before he can say anything to her, suddenly, Nikki comes out of nowhere in a terrifying way, grabs Sarah's head, and keeps smashing it against the steering wheel, completely crushing it, and Sarah dies immediately. After Nikki killed Sarah, she goes to Bear with complete calmness, hugs him, and asks him to help her get rid of the corpse, and that he must do this because he is actually the reason she finished off Sarah. Bear gets afraid of her words, so he helps her, and they bring Sarah's corpse inside the house. After that, Bear escapes from the whole house, goes to the shop where he bought the amulet, and informs the man there that he bought this amulet, and since that time, the girl he loved became obsessed with him, and he wants to cancel the wish he made in any way so his life returns to normal. The man informs him that unfortunately, he won't be able to cancel any wish he made, but the solution is to bring another amulet, give it to another person, and make that person wish the wish that Bear wants to make, and then the wish will come true. In other words, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So Bear agrees, actually takes an amulet, goes to meet Ian, gives him this amulet, and asks him to wish that Nikki hates him and goes back to loving Ian. Bear keeps explaining to him all this talk and that this amulet fulfills wishes. So Ian holds the amulet and makes a wish, but he doesn't wish Bear's wish. Instead, he wishes to get $1 billion. Suddenly, they all find money falling on them literally from the sky. Yes, the amulet fulfills wishes in this very fast way. Bear, of course, is shocked and knows that it's over for him. So he leaves Ian, walks away, and returns again to Nikki to see what he will do with her. As soon as he goes to the house, he finds Nikki completely losing her mind, screaming at him that he left her and walked away just like that, and she keeps cutting herself and doing crazy things. In the middle of all this, Ian arrives at the place. As soon as he arrives at the house, Nikki shoots him a bullet in his head, finishing him off instantly. Of course, Bear is terrified by what Nikki did, so he leaves her and enters the bathroom. He has the gun that was with Nikki a short while ago, so Bear decides that since there is no solution left, he will finish himself off. But at the last moment, he backs away from his words due to fear. He just brings the pills that the cat previously died from and takes a large dose of these pills to end his life peacefully. Afterwards, he goes out to Nikki, hugs her, lets her know that he loves him, and immediately dies due to the pills. At this exact moment, Nikki takes the gun and decides to end her life as well. But we find that Nikki suddenly wakes up, becomes shocked by everything around her and by everything she did, not knowing what happened. It is clear that as soon as Bear died, the curse was broken, or the wish was undone. So Nikki returned to her nature and her consciousness, and she started crying from fear and from all that she did. But unfortunately, what happened, happened, and all this is because of her. 1,000,000,000% in the end, the police will come and arrest her, and this crazy movie ends. The movie here delivers a powerful message. Love acquired by coercion or by magic is not love. It is a sick control. The amulet here, you can literally say, is an expression of human greed.